Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and it seems to me that a lot of people are going into despair out there. Why is the XRP price so flat for so long? Why isn't it moving when Bitcoin's trending upwards so greatly, this and that and so forth? And I hear you guys. I hear you. I'm seeing tons of these types of comments on Twitter, and the people are trying to figure out what's causing this. Well, I can tell you a couple things that are not causing it, which I'm going to get into, and as well as a few reasons why I think this may make sense and why it's perfectly fine. Before we get going here, if you would please gently tap that like button and go ahead and subscribe. If you're a fan of Ripple and or XRP, go ahead and subscribe because you'll have a good time on this channel. We just party here every single day. We bring it hard every day, all right? So let's get going here. Right now here, as I sit and speak at this exact moment, the market cap for crypto asset class is $326 billion. Bitcoin is at about 11,500. XRP is at 40 cents still. Now, part of the reason I find this kind of comical, we're talking about how flat XRP is. It's the beginning of July. In the beginning of May, XRP was hovering around like the high 20 cent range, low 30 cents. And so it's up 33% from there today. So there is that now. But it's always relative because you can compare it to any past time frame. Like you could say, what's it at beginning as comparatively to January 1st, and we're only up like 12%. And you could, but where were we at? January the year, in January 2017, and then where were we? January beginning of 2018. Because over that time frame, we went from about half a cent January 2017 to its all-time high of almost $4. It's like $3.92 according to Live Coin Watch. And man, here's the thing where I'm kind of torn about this, because I don't want anyone to go through the suffering of or the fear of if you invested something and you're scared, is my investment going to be worth something? I don't savor the idea of any human going through that, but I know that's going to happen, and I know that's no fault of my own, and I accept that, and that's part of my strategy, is that humans are going to feel that. Humans are going to act emotionally when they're buying and selling, and that's why, as I cited in a recent video, if you look at the stock market, the average return on the stock market from 1957 to end of 2018 was about 8%, not accounting for inflation, but about 8%. The average retail investor only saw returns of about 3%. Why? They had this access to the same stock market over the same amount of time, so how did the stock market average? 8% returns. Specifically, what I meant was the S&P 500. Let me clarify. The S&P 500 was 8% from 1957 to 2018. And so why was that 8%? And the average retail investor got 3%? Because they're buying and selling with emotion. And I'm counting on humans to be humans. I absolutely am. And so when I see people out there, I sympathize with you because I don't want you to feel that way. I don't want you to feel scared. I don't want anyone to feel scared over anything. But this is what happens, and I'm counting on this. And I'm deciding that's why, for me, I have invested based on fundamentals and the upward price action or downward price action. In particular, it's not going to affect my buying and selling, really. I mean, so upward, fine, it'll affect it when it reaches a certain point. I'll be like, okay, yeah, it's time to unload some of this, fine. But on the way down, no. And I practice what I'm preaching here. And when I say preaching, this is not financial advice, just so you know. I have no financial background whatsoever. I'm just sharing my open and honest opinions with you. But do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say. Right? Just don't do it. Bad idea. Nope. But during the bear market of 2018, I was buying all the way down, and I almost got to buy exactly at the bottom, which I think was 25 cents for XRP. The lowest I bought was 28 cents, so I didn't quite catch it, but I was regularly purchasing, and I had no fear. I had no fear on the way down, because I'm counting on humans doing this, and there is evidence that this is how humans behave, especially when there's new exciting technology resulting in the new opportunities. That's what you saw with the dot-com boom and bust cycle, where there's a bubble that reached the stock market, $6 trillion, and then just cratered completely. And so, humans act erratically as a result of this, and people don't know how things are going to end out. So, people get big picture, crypto's here to stay. There's something to this, and I want to argue, though. I want to make this point, because people say, okay, how come everything moves in tandem with Bitcoin? It does, but how come then XRP, although it does move in tandem, it's the least correlated to Bitcoin in terms of price action? And I think there are reasons for that. There are. I think it has to do with the fact that it's pretty much the only coin, especially in the top 10, the XRP that's being used for anything, the commercial production of anything. And I think that is resulting in different buying and selling activities. I think the people that really believe in this, they have bought in. As I mentioned in a video yesterday, they're already there, and some will drop off over time. But you know what? One of the things that seems to like result in prices like skyrocketing, it's when after there's been panic selling. You know what because this is how humans act. And just we need to acknowledge it. Like this is what humans do, and it's not just in crypto, and the traditional stock markets too. Just like the cycles are expedited, so to speak, because. There's a lot of activity going on in crypto. You can trade 24/7. It's instant. There are a lot of reasons, and it's just nascent, and it's pretty wild out there. But so anyway, in terms of like the price movement for crypto, when people sell because out of fear, the weaker hands, the price goes down, and then the people that don't have weak hands, maybe they're just traders, but maybe they are long-term investors. Like I'm a long-term investor speculator. I see those as buying opportunities. And so if they're, part of it could be, it depends on the point in the cycle in which you're talking, but this probably plays into some degree. There are people, and there are surveys on this, there are people that are purchasing XRP, they're more long-term thinkers, less likely to sell. And so there may not be buying opportunities as frequently as some of these other cryptos in terms of what's the greatest value in the moment. If you're a trader, you may not be seeking that out at the particular moment. There's more to it than that, though. Let me just jump into a couple of these tweets here, and then I'll flesh out some more of my ideas, because I got more to say on this here. But just look at this, and I want this will be a fun illustrative purpose so that you can understand how quickly things can change. This is a tweet from Awake, who is on Twitter as @MrLevelUp, and he's kind of making, in this case, it's kind of like a prediction and direction without specifically slapping a price on it, but he wrote, "Just saying, it's not financial advice, only a cute little pattern I like. P.S. 12 bullets left said hi." I don't know who that is, doesn't matter. Anyway, so here's this image, and then he's drawing this out. It doesn't matter for the sake of this video. I just saw this, and I'm going to illustrate a point with it. It doesn't matter the prediction that he thinks it's going to go up pretty soon. Okay, so he circled this point, this pattern, fine. But look at the short time period, because what is this, the 1 day chart? Yeah, look at this, skyrockets. The actual activity where you see parabolic movement, it happens in the blink of an eye. And if you're not going to be willing to sit there when things are flat or when things are going down, you're going to miss out on this limited activity here. Like, because this happens over very limited periods of time over any given calendar year, if it even happens in a single calendar. Sometimes you have to wait longer than that to see such parabolic movement. But it does happen. It does happen. I don't think we're done seeing that, and that's why I'm happy to put my money out there. And again, not financial advice, all right? I'm just telling you what I'm doing and what I firmly believe as your regular Joe Schmo. Because I feel like I've really well educated myself in terms of what Ripple's doing in particular to build on top of the XRP ledger. But in terms of technical analysis, look, I'm a regular guy, so I'm just being honest with you in terms of what I think with all this here. So, things happen quickly. Look at this tweet now, and this is from Mr. BXRP. This guy's awesome. I love his tweets. He's very active in the XRP community, and he's right on what he's saying here. It is true. Okay, don't think this is FUD the way he starts this out, but he tweets out, "The returns on XRP is horrible over the last year, and Binance Coin is up 146%. But I don't care, because XRP is 1,000% off its all-time high, and those are the gains I am patient for. I also cannot ignore all the evidence of what I believe is coming." And I'm totally with him on this. And he writes, "I will wait." And then he's got a little image here of like the price action, what's up, what's down. Okay. So I completely share that sentiment. There is not, it doesn't matter to me how long XRP is flat, because at some point there's going to be a catalyst. And sometimes when these catalysts happen and parabolic shift happens upward in price, it's really hard to pinpoint what it is, because it doesn't seem to be based explicitly off of news. It's more like the news that's coming out, the positive news that's feeding the people that have already committed to holding their XRP position. That makes it more likely that those XRP people are going to hold. But there's a tweet from Galgatron I cited yesterday, and he made a very salient point, I think, and he said, look, the people that are in this, there isn't really money on the sidelines. The people that want to be in crypto, by and large, they're already in crypto. And so, that's why I think it absolutely makes sense that when you see this good news, it's not that it's doing nothing, it's just not making the price move up. And people, as more time passes, I believe, you're going to see people parse out further and further the winners and losers within this asset class. But it's going to be a long process, And it's probably easier to make some of those types of decisions for the average investor after big boom and bust cycles. So we'll have to see what happens after the next major bull run. Maybe XRP will be parsed out just like every other coin. Maybe that'll happen, and and I think that'll result in people really valuing utility more than anything else. And of course, I believe that XRP would be valued as either the number one cryptocurrency in terms of market cap, or it'll stay at the top, somewhere among the top. Because it's, XRP, just like any other coin, it's not going to be all things to all people, because people do want different attributes from their cryptocurrencies. And so will XRP be number one? I certainly think it's possible, but there are going to be a number of winners. I do believe that. Now, consider this. I want to make a real solid point here. This is important, okay? Here's a tweet from XR Profit. A lot of negative tweets about XRP. Even hodlers and believers are leaving the ship. And then he tags David Schwartz, Ripple CTO, and Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple CEO. So that's those two. Do whatever you want with this tweet. In parentheses, he writes, I will probably never get an answer, in parentheses. But more and more people start to believe that you are suppressing the price of XRP. And then here's the second part of this tweet. I know you don't owe anything to retail investors, but you guys said multiple times that the community is very important for Ripple, so please give us clarity on this. I personally don't believe in this theory, but still strange to see XRP not moving at all with all the news. Yeah, and again, I just kind of explained what I feel about the news thing and how it interacts with price. But let me give you another reason. When I read something like this, that I don't believe for a moment XRP price is being suppressed by Ripple. And I made a whole video on this, but there's one more point that I don't think I made in the other video, and that's the reason I wanted to cite this particular tweet. And this is an important tweet. Consider this. So Ripple has been selling their stash of XRP, and they got a ton of it. That's cool, whatever. They've been selling it through XRP2 LLC, which is a registered money services businesses that they own. And they're selling it to institutional investors pretty much exclusively. It's for large buys. They do everything over the counter. And, some of it certainly, a fair chunk undoubtedly, is sold below market rate, but it's tied to selling restrictions so that the market can't be created. Only a certain amount can be unloaded. And in case you didn't know, like the way that Ripple values their company, it does actually include the valuation of their XRP, but not in the way that you'd think. Because when you consider the notional value of it, it has more so to do with what would you actually get if you went to sell it, because they can't just sell their entire stash for whatever. What is it worth now? 17. Well, here, look on Live Coin Watch. So the market cap is like, for XRP, according to this, is $17 billion, according to Live Coin Watch. And then, actually, you know what? That doesn't include the amount in escrow. So yeah, it would be even more than that. So the notional value would be even higher than that. No, though, because if they would sell it, they would create it at the price. And so they actually do have a formula because they understand that if they were to sell their XRP, that it would actually cause the price to tank. They understand that there would be diminished returns on the excess quantity of XRP that they would sell. And so they do actually factor that in. So again, though they have been selling a lot, what has actually happened over the past X number of years while they've been selling XRP? Consider this, and this is a very important point. If you're afraid of Ripple, just unloading the XRP, and that's the reason secretly behind the scenes that the price is low, it's just not the case. Here's the evidence why, if you want to know why. And I gave a bunch of evidence, but here's another piece. If you look at what happened from January of 2017, Ripple started. I mean, the XRP price started the year somewhere around 0.5 cent. It was around there. It was, and then 1 year later, January 18, it reached its all-time high of about, it was $3.92 according to Live Coin Watch. So it increased, like, how many tens of thousands of percent was that increase in a 12-month period? Keep in mind, while that was happening, Ripple was selling their stash of XRP the whole time. The whole time. And what did that do? Did that suppress price then? Or does Ripple selling their stash of XRP only suppress price in 2019, but it didn't throughout the entire calendar year of 2017? You know that doesn't make any damn sense, right? That makes no sense. Ripple selling this XRP doesn't suppress price. They have no interest in suppressing price. They want a long, happy, healthy XRP ecosystem, and they're contributing to that through their Spring Initiative. In fact, they've actually put almost exactly the quantity that they earned through selling their XRP in the last 4 quarters. That's almost exactly how much that they invested in their Spring Initiative, which is $500 million. That's what they invested in, $500 million into, what was it, a couple dozen companies almost. It was something like that. And those companies are building on top of the XRP ledger, which is healthy for the XRP ecosystem. So if you're one of the people that's buying into this, I urge you to rethink. If you're buying in the concept that Ripple's hurting XRP price, no. They are building on top of it. And what would XRP be worth today without Ripple? That's the question I'd rather pose to you, because they are major contributors in a very healthy, very positive way. So please don't buy into this stuff. It's bunk. It just is. And no offense to you if you believed it, and certainly no offense to XR Profit. People are just doing their best out there, and I get that. They're just doing their best to try and make sense of what's going on, and I respect anybody that has an opinion that's contrary to mine. I just urge you to rethink it, because I don't think that's what's going on here. I don't think that's what the evidence points to. But I'm happy to have discussion on it also. People don't have to agree with me. I'm not right about everything on top of that, so if you think I'm wrong and you got evidence, point it my way. I'm happy to talk about it in a future video. Now here's this. This is on the same topic from Weetsay Wind. He is the creator of the XRP Tipbot, and he is the creator of XRPL Labs, which is a company funded through Ripple's Spring Initiative. So he's one of those companies I was talking about that Ripple is investing in. Ripple doesn't actually have control over the company, though. They just kind of brokered a deal so that XRPL Labs did get some sort of monetary investment from Ripple, and part of that, again, Weetsay is very talented, obviously, but it's going to help further the XRP ecosystem. And so there's a string of tweets here. I probably don't need to read. Yeah, I don't need to read the stuff above here, but Weetsay tweeted this out. Is Ripple selling XRP? Yes. They are very transparent about that. Just check the quarterly reports. Then there's their spring, investing in companies helping to build the XRP ecosystem. Those companies sell as well. Our XRPL Lab sells on a monthly basis. And so there you go. Here's another XRP developer. That's what XRPL Labs, they're a developer on top of the XRP ledger, just like Ripple is, just different for different purposes, different use cases, and they're selling too. And let me scroll down here and read a few more of these, because I like these responses as well. So Eric Dadune responded, these sales lead to frustrations among retail investors due to price pressure. But with all due respect to those frustrated, it's short-sighted to not appreciate the ecosystem building that all these companies are engaged in. It's some pain today for investments into tomorrow. C3 Nick responded to that. The opportunity costs in the short term are substantial, though. I agree with that. As far as C3 Nick is stating, he's saying you could put your money somewhere else and it would grow faster faster than it is with XRP. The history over the last 6 months indicates that. But and that's a fine opinion that he has. Nothing against that. For me, for someone like me, I say so what? Because for me, I look at this differently. I'm a long-term investor. I'm willing to only put money where I see that there's actual utility. For me, that's XRP. And here's why I don't matter that I'm missing out on BTC gains or anything else in the short term. Remember this chart that I showed you right here? Let me pull it up again. When I was making this point of, see, look what I'm circling here. Unless you're driving, then don't look. Okay. But what I'm circling here is a quick parabolic shift in price upward. And I showed you this earlier in the video. These happen in the blink of an eye. And if I had money elsewhere, because I was like, oh, nothing's happened with XRP and I'm having an emotional response rather than sticking to the fundamentals, I would miss the next parabolic run up. I absolutely would. So I'm not willing to hope that I could get some BTC gains just because I feel like XRP is a little too flat for me right now. I'm not going to let my emotions win the day. I don't have those emotions, actually. So they can't win the day. I feel nothing. When XRP price goes down, I feel nothing. And I also haven't put in more than I'm willing to lose. So there's another reason. I just expect that humans are going to, like I said, keep behaving the way they're behaving. And I'm counting on it. I'm absolutely counting on them doing this. That's why I have confidence, because I know other people won't. Seriously, that might sound silly, but that's literally what I mean here. And there's history to prove this is how humans act, not just in this asset class, but in the stock market, and pick other asset classes as well. You can see it in all. Anytime there's been a bubble in anything or exciting new technology, this is what happens. So I'm totally cool with it. And then anyway, Eric Dadune, he responded to C3 Nick's tweet, and he said, absolutely, people should diversify and or sell into other opportunities if such opportunities exist and excite them. Some seem to act as though they are being forced to hodl. And I agree with that. And that's why, again, as far as what C3 Nick said, hey, he's spot on. If that's what's right for him, he should do it. Absolutely. If you're the type of person that wants to spread out more, and it is a little bit, from my perspective, risky, but other people might say no because you're diversifying. But I'm only going where utility is. And so, yeah, I'm missing some price pumps, but so what? But again, if you want to do that, nothing against you. I'm just telling you where I'm coming from. And then C3 Nick responded, problem at this point in time is that XRP has already been suppressed for a long time. Scaling out of it now is a bit tricky since you are selling a suppressed asset for one or more which already moved up. I started diversifying from day one, but starting now is not easy, and I firmly agree with that. I think that he's spot on. That's really insightful, and I'm happy to share that comment with you. Don't chase what's moving up. That's generally the accepted, not financial advice for me, but that's like generally the accepted way to approach things. Is as a coin is pumping, maybe don't buy at the top. Don't buy at the top of anything. That's a bad idea, right? so I certainly respect the opinion. And I'm going to end with this. And this seems like the perfect way to wrap up this video, and it's kind of comical. I'm a fan of the modern investor. I mean, I may be a YouTuber myself on XRP, but I watch tons of different other crypto YouTubers, mostly just XRP YouTubers. And modern investors really bullish on XRP, although he covers all sorts of other stuff. He has some videos where he doesn't even talk about XRP, and I talk about XRP currently in all of my videos. I don't think there's been a single exception to that so far, and I've been doing this over 6 months. But anyway, I like this guy, and so he tweeted out, he just wrote the truth, and then there's this image, and I love this. This guy, I think this character's name is Fry. I know he's from Futurama. It's by that guy that made the Simpsons series. Anyway, and so here's him looking not too sure with this chart. I'm going to pull this up. So here's this character Fry looking not too sure with this chart, and it shows the price action of the crypto asset. Well, this is Bitcoin specifically, and it gets down to 3,200. He's like, not so sure about that. And then it shows the chart continuation, and it's all the way up because it's recovered to 13,800. And here's the same character, take my money, and he's holding the wad of hundreds. That's how the market acts. That's why I wanted to share it. It's comical. This is how humans behave. And so I'm not willing to jump in at the top of this stuff. I bought XRP on the way down, and I'm going to keep buying it until it pumps up again, and then I'll tap the brakes. But that's what I think is right for me. You do what you think is right for you. If you think I'm wrong, that's fine. I respect your opinion. If you disagree with me on any of this, do what you think is right for you. Talk to a professional financial advisor, because again, that is not me. I'm just a regular guy sharing his opinion on the internet. So please take it for what it is worth. That's that. All right. I'm going to wrap up the video now, but again, I am not a financial advisor. Don't buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. But thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday.